Hey everyone, welcome to FedBiz Exchange. I'm Michelle Brown, your coach and your mentor. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about creating a COVID proof, pandemic proof business. This year, 2020, I should say, has been detrimental to not just our country in the United States, but all over the world. And, different countries have handled it different. But the United States has to realize that we have put ourselves in a really bad situation because we don't manufacture over here. We don't create our own products like we used to. And there were so many horrible things that happened because we have not been serious about what we make over here. And I'll be honest, most of it is just about greed and money. There's no reason why we are not looking at our businesses differently. I'm not against large companies doing their thing. If they want to send everything over to China, that's their business. But we see where that got us. I mean, we don't have basic things over here, not to mention that it has destroyed so many businesses that we're closing more than 1,000 businesses a month all over this country. And you know what that means. Everybody's talking about 13 million jobs being lost right now. But what about the companies that create the jobs? So I want to talk to you about creating a COVID proof, pandemic proof business because it will happen again. Hopefully not soon, but it will happen again and you need to be ready. Hey, you guys, before we get into this video, I just want to remind you, I know government contracting can be somewhat challenging, but don't forget you have Ask Michelle B. Just click on the link in the comment section to ask me a question. I will respond to you personally, and I will also put it out to the audience for everyone because most of the time we all have the same questions, or it's a question that's probably going to come up during your government contracting journey. Ask me anything you want to know anytime. And please don't forget to subscribe. So, how do you create a COVID-19 pandemic proof business? And why do you need to do that? And I'm using COVID-19 because that's where we are now. But you should think of this as a pandemic proof business, period. To many of us, it's obvious as to why we should do that, but why is it that so many of us did not do that? This is how we should be thinking always and forever. You need to make your business pandemic proof. You need to make it recession proof. And how do you do that? You need to think about where your business is today, what you need to do to change it, but you're not just going to change it because you have to think about what happened and how did you get here, regardless of the type of pandemic, because it could happen again. It's too late for us to cry over spilled milk, but we can get this together. We can put together a long term plan for our businesses, a plan of survival and sustainability. So we just have to look at where we are today in our businesses, and then we have to take steps to not just reinvent to survive. Remember, I talked about in one of my videos recently survival business versus visionary business. And visionary business is going to include reinvention if needed and or strategies to make sure that this does not happen to you again. I know if you've been listening to me for a while, you know how it really surprises me at how some of these larger companies have been taken over because they were not doing their homework. They were not being visionaries. They were busy being greedy. And the next thing you know, the new thing came along and they were out of business. That's crazy to me. It means that somebody wasn't paying attention. A lot of times the CEO is walking away and hiring somebody else. But when you're the founder of something, you need to protect it like it's one of your children. So you have to think about where do you want to see your business? And you have to think about what could happen. We already know what has happened. So you take that information and you start restructuring, you start rebuilding. And the next time a pandemic comes along, you don't have the same issue. So it means thinking outside of the box. You cannot depend on government to send you stimulus checks. I know a lot of farmers that are doing that right now. That's not helping them to keep their farms. That trade policy did not work. We have a lot of farmers that lost their farms, their family owned 30 and 40-year farms, because of that trade policy and that negotiation that did not go as well as people think it did. So, but the farmers are being quiet because they were appreciative, which I get. I understand it, but it didn't solve the problem. They were appreciative of the billions of stimulus dollars they received since last year, even before COVID, when the trade started. But I bring that up to say you cannot depend on government. You need to reinvent your business. You need to make sure you understand who your customers are. You can't depend on one stream of income. So this is why you need a pandemic proof business. So look at the services that you offer and what you sell. That's the first thing you're going to do. You need to write these things down. That's what I did. I'm doing vision planning all the time and coming back and restructuring. Fortunately for me, I made some decisions before we got to COVID. I made some new decisions for my vision for 2020. So I was ready. Did not know I was getting ready for COVID, but I was ready in the sense that I didn't have to readjust my mind. I had already thought about what I wanted to be when I grew up, so to speak, or what I want to be down the line, or what I want my company to be. You have to do the same thing. So ask yourself, how did this pandemic affect your business? Write down specific things that happened to your business during the pandemic. No matter whatever comes to mind, write it down. Were you able to provide your services or products during the pandemic? If no, why not? Now, you might say, well, because of the pandemic, but dig deeper than that. Okay? If you were open, what steps did you have to take to protect your customers and your employees due to COVID? Did it affect your customers buying products or services from you? Now, I will say something to you that is very important that people don't seem to understand. There is no great economy as long as we have COVID. Until we get rid of COVID or get it under control, we will not be back to normal when it comes to greatness in our economy. It's not going to happen that way unless people think differently. And here's why. You have half the country that don't believe in it and half the country that does. I happen to be on the side that I do believe in it, so there are a lot of things I do to protect myself. One of them is I don't take on specific types of personal services. For instance, to get my nails done. That's not important to me. I like my nails to look nice and neat and professional, but I don't care about that when it comes to my life or my health. So I'm not going to go to a salon. I don't care how many masks people are wearing. I'm not going to sit in a salon to wear a mask for an hour myself. This is representative of a customer base for my nail salon. They have to deal with that. So what do? They have to think about, should we, get a mobile service? I mean, people act like they cannot reinvent themselves. Now, personally, I would not let anybody come to my house to do a personal service because I am paranoid about this thing. They said don't have people in your house that don't live with you. So I'm not going to do that. I listen to the scientists, but that's just me. There are other people that are willing to do that. I'm not willing to adjust that way because I don't have to. I would rather do services a different way for my business, which I can do that because I have a professional service business and my markets are different. But her and her salon, she's going to struggle through this. She's probably getting half the income she's used to because of people like me. So she has to think of other ways to reinvent herself. You can't just sit up there and be mad at the government and fight the government. You're not going to win. It's not going to work. And it's stupid, to be honest, because we are in a pandemic. So I understand people have to eat and you have to eat. I have to eat too, but we have to use our critical thinking skills. And if you don't want this to happen to you again, depending on the government, you have to do these things. I'm telling you. And you have to have a strategy of survival and sustainability. So, did it affect your customers buying products or services from you? Most of you, the answer is yes. Also, did they need your services or products during the pandemic? Could your customers get your services from somewhere else in a different kind of way? Or could you get to your customer? So you have to think about, what are the other ways that I can get to my customer? What are the other things I can do or deliver to my customer? If you have a restaurant, I don't understand why restaurants were not already doing their own delivery. It's just people not thinking. Maybe they don't want to pay more, and I understand that delivery may not be the same. I know people enjoy the experience, but the experience ain't happening right now. And to be honest, restaurants are the reason that we have had these increased numbers. I know some of you may not agree with me, but that's my opinion. And the facts and the scientists and the doctors say it. How can you eat with a mask on? You have to take it off. You're eating, you're with your family and friends, you're not going to want to put it back on. So that's just normal, but it's a fact. So also, uh, if you offer products, were you able to still get those products? It happened to me. Some of those medical supplies that I offer for my government contracting, they were not available because even though they're made here in the United States, I find out that they're not made in the United States. I find out that either they need a part for the product that they're not getting because we're fighting with China or somewhere else, which is another conversation. The United States, us as business people, we should be ashamed of ourselves that we are not manufacturing in this country. And I will tell you what it is, it's only greed. And us small businesses, we should take over manufacturing in this country because that's what's going to happen. I believe that we've learned a huge lesson depending on all of these other countries. We did not have PPE supplies to take care of our nurses and doctors. I was part of that, trying to get those supplies. Some I was able to get, some I was not. And it's a shame. It's shameful, all because of greed. Everything is made in China, Vietnam, Malaysia, and mostly China. Some of you know I do pharmaceutical drugs. Same thing. It's unacceptable. We have got to change this. And all we got to do is change our thinking. So, what if I can't get the supplies? That means I can't sell anything to the government because the government needs it. I'm trying to find it. I can't get it because we don't make it here in the United States. That's not good. So, do I think about partnering with manufacturers to change things? Absolutely. And that's what I've been doing so that we can create more of our own right here in this country. Also, what happened to your revenue? Did you lose revenue? Did your revenue increase? There were some businesses that their revenue increased, like some of the medical supply companies, like what I do. But guess what happened? They couldn't get the supplies either, so they had to refund a lot of people. Fortunately, I didn't have to do that because I'm just working with the government. I make sure that the product is available before I go try to sell it to the government. I make sure I do my due diligence, but that's part of my process. And then, what happened to your employees? How did you take care of your employees? Did you protect them? A lot of these businesses are not protecting their employees. These employees are doing whatever they want to do, and then they come back to work and they make everybody sick. The Starbucks in my area, three, three, three of them within 10 miles of each other were shut down because employees are not being safe. You can't control that. So if you understand what I'm saying, you see that our economy is not going to get back to normal until people get it. We have the vaccine right now, but that's not going to be all settled for another probably 6 or 7, 8 months. So we still have 6 or 7, maybe some even say a year to go. My point is that you have to think about these things. And you do need to tell your employees. A lot of those employees, they will not tell you if they have COVID. They will just come back to work. And if you're not making them wear a mask or you're not making them be careful, they'll just give it to your whole staff and boom, your entire staff You got 5 people, 2 people, 50 people, is shut down. Business slows down, you're not making any money. So I never understood this concept of people being angry and not following some rules, because as long as you're doing those things, you're going to be out of business. You're going to be missing money because you're busy trying to make money, but yet you're undermining yourself. And nobody would talk like that in public, meaning I'm listening to these politicians and I'm thinking they are a bunch of idiots. They do not understand until we get this COVID. Joe Biden is the only person I've heard saying that. Until we get this COVID under control, our economy will not be the same. So let's be ready. We're going to have a great 2021. I have a couple more things. I want you to ask yourself, after listening to me and asking these questions of yourself, how can you reinvent your company? After you answer these questions, because this is only the first step, we're going to do step 2 in another video. How can you reinvent your company? Just keep thinking about that. Okay. Now, the next part of this is, I'm almost done. Who are your customers? Do you serve only one market, or do you serve many markets? Like me and my business, I have a few markets. I do. Fortunately for me, I've always believed in multiple streams of income. I can make money just like that anywhere I want to in my 2 markets. Now, I'm building a third market and a fourth market, but they're all connected. They're all connected in different ways. They may be in different markets because on one side, I serve medical doctors, I serve the government, and I serve regular business people. But with this pandemic, I believe I need to make sure, still, even though I have multiple markets, that I understand the things that could happen to my business. Okay, so how is COVID affecting your customers in this market? Now, that's one thing I need to talk to you guys about, because a lot of these business owners, all I heard them complain about, and don't get me wrong, I understand, I want to make money too, but all they complained about is complain with the government. We can't make any money. You're killing people if you're not careful. Do you want people suing you because they're dying of COVID in your restaurant? That's not intelligent. It's not. And it makes no sense. You're not going to have any customers if people start hearing that others are dying from COVID in your restaurant. This is why they were discussing on the Senate floor not being able to sue, people not being able to sue business owners. Well, business owners need to do their part too. So don't be one of those entrepreneurs or business owners where you don't care about your employees or your customers. Do you offer a service or product that the government buys? This is what I want you thinking about. Does the government buy what you sell, or can you sell the government something that they need? They buy everything. And even if you're not selling it right now, you can add it to your business. That's how you need to think. You need a market that is safe. The government, no matter what is going on, will never stop spending money. They're the only ones. They're the only ones. So if you're not figuring this out and having trying to figure out how to have the government as a client, a customer, for at least the amount of time that you want to be in business, you're not using your critical thinking skills. You can do this. It is worth it. And if you had the government as a customer right now, you probably would not be suffering. There are some of us that may not be able to get some of the products, but I was easy. I was able to make 40, 50,000 here or there, just helping the government getting what they need right away, or as soon as I can. And in some cases, they will be patient because they know we don't make enough of the things that they need right now, right here in this country. They know what's going on. They're not going to tell you, but they know what they've done. They've done a horrible thing by not encouraging businesses to make products and service right here. It's all about greed. And the sad part is you can make a lot of money, be a triple-digit millionaire just by doing the right thing. There are billionaires that do it already. You don't have to use slave labor to make products in this country. People are just greedy, and some people are lazy, and we've become too complacent. And now we don't make anything in this country, and it's very sad. But guess what? It's going to change. I really believe that. And I really believe for the first time, we might have a president that realizes, not because he's necessarily the greatest and all of that. I'm not tooting anybody's horn. What I'm saying is they all knew it. The presidents before him, they just never got to it. Obama tried to put some penalties against corporations that would not bring jobs back here, but it didn't work. He couldn't get support on it. Trump talked about it, but he didn't do anything about it. Not really. So hopefully this president will do something about it. It's a very serious problem. It's very serious. We cannot depend on other countries. So if you have some ideas, and if you're going to be listening to me, you're going to find out some of the things you can do to either make a product, work with a manufacturer to create a product, or create a service. That's what you need to be thinking about. So ask yourself, what are you going to do about this so that you don't end up here again? And I'll talk to you in part two, step two of how to create a COVID proof business.